Team Fortress 2 is not what many would describe as a cozy game. At least not by conventional standards anyway. But for me, there's something oddly peaceful and harmonious about TF2 and its maps. Have you ever taken a break from gibbing hatless medics and turtling behind sentries long enough to stop everything you were doing and open your ears? Just shut out all the noise and really paid attention to your surroundings? Because if you tune out the screaming, explosions, and bullets whizzing by, you'll find that you are constantly surrounded by one of the finest soundscapes ever crafted in video games. This video isn't setting out to really do anything big or important. I just really want to point out how much I like TF2 and its world design. So I hope that you guys are interested enough to keep watching. And hit that like button and smash that sub box. And if not, then fuck! In the noisy world we live in, it's really easy to take for granted how big of a role sound plays in our lives. Have you ever put down your phone or got off your computer, walked out your front door and just stood there for a few minutes and really took things in? Sound plays a big role in the game, even in the most minor ways. The subtle sound design can be easily ignored to the point where most players might not even notice it's there. It really makes the game world feel lived in and alive. It gives the illusion that there is more to this place beyond the boundaries of the map that you're in. The hum of machinery in the 2-fort basement. The clashing of swords into Groot Keep. Cars and trains going by in Kong King. There's something very simple, but also advanced about the sound design in this game. The world feels less like maps to run and shoot in, and more like real places that have been taken over by insane mercenaries to fight in. Even when there's no fighting at all, the fact that there's never truly nothing going on, and there's always noise happening, even if it's in the distance, really makes the player feel like they're part of something bigger. But TF2's audio isn't just built on its ambient soundscapes. It would be nothing without the greatest ambient audio of all time, the Administrator.
Mission begins in 30 seconds.
That low-quality crackle of her microphone as she yells at you is heavily nostalgic. I know how easy it is to tune her out, especially if you've been playing the game forever, and honestly, that's also high praise. I think the game is so good at giving you information that even if you completely block out the Administrator's voice, the visual HUD indicators still give you everything you need to know. You could play the game and still learn everything that's happening just by glancing at your screen. Where are your teammates? Where are you at? Where's the objective? You can figure that shit out just by looking around. The game is greatly designed. The way Ellen McLean speaks is so distinct. It's impossible not to hear her voice when reading her comic book dialogue. Hearing her voice lines really takes me right back to when I first played the game. Her voice loomed above every round as this unseen presence, echoing through the hallways, empty courtyards. It felt like no matter where you were on the battlefield, she was there too. In fact, I spent a lot of my time exploring the maps when I was a fresh player, so I was often out of the way and separated from the fighting, just because I wanted to look around and learn the map. That or I was in the basement somewhere guarding a briefcase. Point is, since I wasn't in the action, I could take in the noises and the sounds of each map, so they're very special to me, and I hope that everyone else will eventually appreciate them too. Regardless of how great the Administrator is, she's not the only one. How many times have you logged into a game and before you even pick your class, you hear someone screaming in the background? The voice lines of the mercs themselves really make a difference in gameplay. The only other game that even comes close to this level of player interaction and connectivity is probably Deep Rock Galactic. What other game basically has its own language that developed from voice lines and physical actions like crouching and weapon switching? The community really took these already fantastic voice lines and really made them their own.
Nope.
There is genuinely nothing funnier than in-game sentence mixing.
Put this. No.
The voice lines are so bombastic and memorable that you could identify a character purely from their death screen. Actually, I take that back. Literally any noise these guys make is iconic. Not to mention the automatic voice lines that play whenever you heal someone, get healed, or take a friendly teleporter.
Thanks for the ride, partner.
There's also when there's action on the control point, the payload voice lines. I remember when those were added, people lost their fucking minds.
Oh no! Little cart is moving!
Something I really want to point out is the psychological concept of pub pushes and the invisible guidance that exists for every player. When you hear the Administrator declare, "Mission ends in 60 seconds," it kicks everyone into high gear. Everyone's got their own thing going on. You tune out everything else on your screen because you've been playing for so long that the HUD itself blends into the gameplay. How many times have you been so focused on what you're doing that you get shaken awake by her screaming the time limit in your ears? These voice lines all come together to act as a driving force to continue playing the objective. It's an invisible tutorial that uses only sound cues and funny voice lines. There's just something about the combination of the finely crafted soundscapes that come together to form a masterclass of game design. And I've been talking for this long, I have not once brought up how great the weapons themselves sound. Let's play a game. I'm gonna play a few sound effects from different guns, and I want to see if you can actually identify them. Let's go. I hope you were paying attention. Now let's see if you got all those right. I played sound effects from the following weapons: the Brass Beast, the Iron Bomber, the Hitman's Heatmaker, the Rocket Launcher, and the Shortstop. If you got all of them right, congratulations, you're a fucking nerd. When it comes to multiplayer shooters, how big of a role does sound play in them? I can't think of any other shooter games that put such a big focus on atmosphere, voice lines, and the ability to identify individual weapons just from a quick sound cue. I think Valve as a whole is one of the smartest companies in the world in this regard. Valve knew from day one how imperative it was to teach the player without actually teaching them through sound. They had this going on all the way back in Half-Life 1, where you can tell which enemies are around based on their sound cues. The Left 4 Dead games, they're king in this regard. Your ability to know exactly what special infected is about to cause you trouble, or how many common infected you'll have to deal with, based on musical stings and individual grunting, is amazing. It might seem like a really basic concept to get down, but you would be surprised how frequently most big-budget games downplay, ignore, or just leave out this core concept altogether. Maybe someday I'll make a video where I gush purely about Valve's sound design, but for now, I'm way more interested in talking about the little things about TF2 that I appreciate. The small minutia that nobody else really gives a fuck about. Making TF2 videos is way more fun when it's on a subject you actually like. If you're still watching, I want to let you know the video is over. Thank you for watching, and it was a joke earlier, but hey, smash that subscribe button and hit the like. Give me a comment about what you thought, and I'm really interested in what your favorite soundscapes are and what your favorite map environments are. And if you're still listening as I talk right now, you are the real Wayland superfan. I'll give you a medal. Just leave your home address in the comments below. The video is really over now, though, okay? There's nothing left at all. Go home, get out!
Bitch.
What do you say to some funny...
Up your ass.